Hi, my name is Amber Campbell. I run Orange Rose Editorial, which is my freelance editorial business. I'm also a self-published author, and I have this lovely little thing coming out in September. A little too close. There we go. The tagline for it is Family, Grief, and Finding Peace. It's about 126 pages last I checked, and it's coming out specifically September 26th of this year. So today I wanted to talk about a little bit where I got my cover design from. As you can see, very minimalistic, very simple. Spine, I do have a little bit of the ivy wrapping around, and then the back, just the simple poem. Don't even know if that's in mirrored view or not. But a lot of the inspiration I drew came from these 4 books. Probably the most famous is going to be Rupi Kaur. So this is her second publication. Again, just title, author name, 1 image on the front, which is what I'm getting a lot with traditionally published poetry books, as well as indie authors. And so the back, this is kind of hit or miss when it comes to any type of poetry book, whether they do have the excerpt on the back there. And I realized I really liked it. I think it's a good way to kind of tell the theme of the book. If you can't find a tagline, like if you're looking at it just in the paperback form in a bookstore. And then the other one that I think is a little bit out of my range, just that is gorgeous. Oh my goodness, the iridescent. And then the pages do it as well, if you can see that on the camera. This is by Atticus, Lvoe. The back of his is very simple, very plain, but I love the gray color. As evidence, I just went with a much darker version because my house is all gray and white anyway. And then this is actually an indie author, and I wanted to draw inspiration from there as well. This is much more simplistic. June Bates, the one everyone thought was Taylor Swift for the longest time. But again, simple poem on the back. She didn't use an imprint. I used my own imprint, Orange Rose Press, as a part of Orange Rose Editorial. And then lastly, Courtney Peppernell. So, same idea, single image on the front somewhere. She actually has excerpts, not excerpts. I'm thinking shoutouts, that's not what that is. When my brain catches up, we'll do that. Anyway, just got those on the back. But again, solid color on the background. And so that's where I drew a lot of the inspiration for mine. I chose Ivy. That ended up being a very last-minute decision. I ended up writing a poem called Garden. That is in the second section. I need to look at where. I think it's in the second one though. And it was very simple in its, I guess not just the meaning, but the look. And I wanted simple. I played with the idea of having that center image, just something in the center image. Couldn't decide what I wanted. I was thinking of like a line art drawing of a raccoon. There's a poem called Raccoon in here. I was also thinking of doing a rose. The imprint is Orange Rose for a reason. Flowers have a lot of significance in here, as well as just natural elements in general, rain, sunshine, things like that. But as soon as I wrote Garden, I realized I wanted the ivy. And so this actually played a role in the second title, which will be forthcoming. We're looking at 2024 for that. But I love the idea that it could be coming up on the spine. I'll bring it a little bit closer. There we go. I'm very shaky, I apologize. And this is the Amazon KDP, as evidenced by this lovely not for resale bar. The copy from Ingram Sparks is going to be coming Tuesday, which I was very surprised because I ordered it Monday night, and that was right before 4th of July. So I'm very happy that it's coming a little bit sooner than they told me. They were telling me like 8 to 9 days. And I was like, well, hopefully it's coming not USPS, because that's the only reason I would think something from Tennessee to Texas would be taking 8 to 9 days to get to me. But those were the inspirations. I know I didn't want a photo on the cover, because that looks, this is so weird, but it looks like a textbook to me when you actually have just a photo of something in the middle, in between the title and the name. So I knew I didn't want to do that. I love line art, which is very common in every single one. I actually love what Atticus did. I've got it in the middle here. He hired, I believe it was a tattoo artist, to draw, and they came out so good. Yes, the world famous tattoo artist Daniel Winter, also known as Winterstone. Let me kind of pull some up for you here. Seriously, you guys need to buy this book. It's gorgeous. So I wasn't sure what artwork I wanted. This one does not have any yet inside of it. I will be working on that for the second and third poetry collections that I'm working on right now. But this one, I wanted it to be very simple, straightforward, much like what you get actually in Pillow Thoughts, because this one does not have any artwork in it either. It's just the poems. And June Bates did the same thing with hers. So, but I think there's one I think is just a little bit more modern, but all of them are in the same vein of very conversational poetry, which is what the ones is going to be and what it is. But those were my biggest inspirations. Those are the ones I reread, looked at them for the formatting issues. I'm a blonde, even though this is a hairbox dye red, and so the first time I did it, I didn't even have page numbers. So that had to be added in. And then I used a size 12 font, which is what I believe June Bates used, but it just looked too big for me. So I changed it to 11 because I didn't want it to be like super tiny, because, you know, my family wants to read it and most of them are older than me. But I also realized, because I did KDP first, and I'll get into another video about that later, but I did KDP first because I wanted to be able to do as many changes as I wanted, have them be pretty much instantaneous, and then get a proof copy out to me within 48 hours, which I've ordered 2 different sets of proof copies. They both got to me 48 hours after ordering them, because Amazon's just very, very quick. But once I got that settled up, that's when I moved to Ingram Sparks, because first of all, there was no upload fee, and then there's no adjustment fee. There was a $25 change fee if you needed to update your files. They took that away for the first 60 days, which I'm not a procrastinator when it comes to things like this. I was not going to be someone who puts it up on pre-order when it's not finished or not fully edited, anything like that. So I knew it would be done. In fact, excuse me, I actually started on KDP uploading everything on June 9th and officially finished it this morning for updating files and everything July 8th. So it took me a month. So this was also my first publication, so I'm learning the ropes, all that kind of stuff. But it took me about a month to really figure it out, get everything ironed out. Draft to digital took 10 days before all of the automatic sites were uploaded with the ebook. And then Ingram Spark took, I think, 2 or 3 days to process my initial upload. And then it's going to take another 2 or 3 days afterwards to update the changes I did, and then it's taken about 7 days to get me the book. So for anybody who has heard horror stories, I watch a lot of Mandy Lynn here on YouTube, as well as Bethany Atazada, and I'm trying to think, there's a lot of them I watch. Heart Breathings is another one, although she's pretty much predominantly ebook, I believe. But I did watch a lot of them. There's a lot of horror stories about Ingram Spark. My only suggestion is go at it with your full completed manuscript, regardless of what genre you're in. Have it completed as close as you can, because you don't want to go outside of that 60 days to upload any files that you need to upload, because then you're just throwing money at them when already they're earning a royalty off of your work. And I'm going to go ahead and I did the 55% discount for retailers, just to try to get it out there. So just for reference, and of course, when I go into the other video, I'll go into this, but for reference, this book on KDP for the paperback, I think it's like a $3.48 royalty, $3.48. On Ingram, with that 55 discount, I think I'm making like $1.40, which is more, actually that's less, I think it's half as much as I'm making on ebook sales. Because those are about $2.80, $2.37, depending on Amazon or draft to digital. But yes, this is my little baby. She will be out in the world September 26, 2023. And again, I launched this crazy early because I wanted to make sure everything was right before it actually went out, because if I had any kind of disaster go wrong, I would panic, because that is how I am. But that's where I drew inspiration for the cover. So everybody, hope you have a great day. Bye. Quick thing that I forgot to mention earlier is that I did design the cover myself. I have a Canva Pro subscription, so that's where I did it at. Had this been a YA or MG novel, which is what I edit for, I would have paid a graphic designer or a cover designer to do it for me. It would need to be a lot bigger, a lot more color, more action to draw somebody in. Contemporary would need actual people on it. I can't draw at all. But because poetry is very simple, I decided to go ahead and design my own. I plan on designing the poetry covers for the time being, and we'll just see how it goes from there. All right, bye.